One of the first pictures of me is I'm up on the counter in the kitchen, and I'm about a year old, and there's flour all over my face. I'm all the way up on the counter, and Mom was making bread, and I was out there, quote, helping her. We ate bread that Mother made. It was the only bread we ate when I was growing up. My dad convinced her that when she had somewhat of a failure once, that he threw the store-bought bread that she'd bought to substitute for the bread that she thought wasn't good enough. He took the store-bought bread out and ceremoniously threw it in the garbage and said, "You can't make bread as bad as they do." Then she was hooked. And I didn't really start baking bread seriously until probably I was over 40. My late wife encouraged me, and I started making all the bread for our family of 4. And I quickly discovered I loved doing it. Sometime in the 80s, my first wife gave me a wheat grinder. And I discovered that from doing some reading that wheat berries have a germ, they call it, which is the nucleus, which has some oil in it and most of the DNA for the wheat berry. And when white bread is made, they have a way that they, in the grinding process, exclude the wheat berries, not the wheat berries, but the nucleus. The sac that has the oil in it, because that oil, once the wheat is ground, is susceptible to becoming rancid. And so they get rid of it. Well, that's where a lot of the nutrition resides. So when we eat white bread, we not only don't get the husks that gives us roughage and bulk, but we also don't get the heart of the berry. But when you grind your own bread, that doesn't happen. And I've got my wheat grinder explodes the berries against a ring of stone inside into very fine flour. And so I love making bread, to make a long story short, and I've done it for many years, and I'm still providing almost all of the bread in our family now. And I got up this morning and turned the wheat grinder on and came back from water exercises and mixed, actually before I went to water exercises, I mixed the water and salt and oil and yeast in with the flour. And when I got back from the exercises, it had risen up, and I put it out here with a pile of white flour that does help it rise, and cut it up into 4 sections, and I've got 4 pans out here that I've put oil in, and that's how I make bread. And I bake it for 50 minutes at 350 degrees. So much for bread making.